talking about parallel and perpendicular lines. And the first thing you need to know is how to identify parallel lines. Parallel lines have the same slope. Because if they're increasing at the exact same rate, they're going to stay an equal distance away from each other. Perpendicular lines, on the other hand, have slopes that are negative reciprocals of each other. So, for example, if I give you the equation y equals 2x plus 7, the slope of that is 2. The negative reciprocal slope would be negative 1/2. The reciprocal is just flipping our fraction upside down. And if this one's positive, this one has to be negative. If this one's negative, this one has to be positive. Alright, take a look at our two little graphs here. Which lines are parallel and how do you know? Well, we can see pretty clearly that this line and this line are going to be parallel. They're an equal distance apart. This next one is much harder to tell. So we're going to have to find the slopes of each line and tell that way. So this one's up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 over 1. This one's up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 over 1. And let's check this one just in case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 over 1. So these two lines would be our parallel lines because they have the same slope. Alright, are the given lines parallel? Explain your reasoning. Well, if we make our XY chart for y equals negative 5, and we make our XY chart for y equals 3, and then we graph them both, I'm going to have one line here at negative 5, and I have one line here at 3. So they are parallel. Now, x equals 0, y equals 0 is going to be a different story. When x equals 0, that's this line. And when y equals 0, this line. So instead of being parallel, they're actually perpendicular. x equals negative 4. So x always equals negative 4. X equals 1. If I were to graph that, yes, those are parallel. Alright. The vertices of a quadrilateral are as follows. Can you use slope to determine whether the quadrilateral is a parallelogram? Is it a parallelogram? Justify your answer. So, of course we can use slope to tell if it's a parallelogram. To do that, I would first graph it. -5, 3, 2, 2, 4, -3, -2, -2. So, to know if it's a parallelogram, I need to know that this and this are parallel. So I'm going to check the slope of A and B with D and C. So the slope between A and B, to find that I'm going to use the slope formula. Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So y2 would be 2, y1 would be 3, x2 would be 2, x1 would be -5. So I get a slope of -1 over 7. And then I need to check DC. In this case, y2 is -2, y1 is -3, x2 is -2, x1 is 4, and I get a slope of 1 over -6. So -1/6. Since those are not the same slope, they do not equal each other, they are not the same slope, this is not a parallelogram. And this is all the justification that you need. Proof that you found the slopes and that they're not equal. Because these two lines are not parallel with each other. We got lucky and didn't check those first because I think those are parallel. Alright, moving on. Which two lines are perpendicular and how do you know? So we're looking for a 90-degree angle. And again, I think this one's pretty easy to see that here's my 90-degree angle. If we draw our little symbol there. The next one, however, we're going to have to actually find the slopes. So, if we look at, let's look at line G. It's -2, So the slope of line G is down 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4. Down 1 over 4. So the negative reciprocal, since this is negative, we want our new slope to be positive, and we flip it upside down, 4 over 1. So let's take a look at our graph here. Is this up 4 over 1? 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1? I don't think it is. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. 1, 2, no. So it has to be this one. Up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. So lines G and R are perpendicular. This is my 90-degree angle because this line doesn't increase at a rate of 4 over 1. Alright, are the given lines perpendicular? Explain your reasoning. So if we have x is negative 2 and y is 8, I'm going to count those by 2s, that is going to form a right angle. An x and an x are going to be perpendicular, so that's a no. And then again, an x and a y, and here we have both axes, so this is the s. The vertices of a parallelogram are as follows. How can you use slope to determine whether the parallelogram is a rectangle? Is it a rectangle? Justify your answer. So we're going to graph them again. Negative 5, 0, 1, 4, 3, 1, and negative 3, negative 3. It looks like a rectangle. I would check and see are K and L parallel with J and M first. So y2 minus y1. y2 is 1 minus 4 over 3 minus 1 gives us negative 3 over 2. So that's that slope. And then if I'm looking at J and M, y2 is negative 3 minus y1 is 0. x2 is negative 3 minus negative 5. I get negative 3 over 2. Okay, so those have to be parallel. And then ML and JK should be 2/3 if we have a rectangle, because rectangles have right angles, so we know that KL and LM have to be perpendicular. So if we're looking at LM, we have negative 3 minus 1 over negative 3 minus 3, which gives us negative 4 over negative 6, which is 2/3. And then if I'm looking at JK, I have 4 minus 0 over 1 minus negative 5, giving me 4 over 6, which is 2/3 also. So yes, this is a rectangle. And all the justification that you need is showing your work here. Alright, use an equation to find the value of k so that the line that passes through the given points has the given slope. Alright, so we have to use our slope formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 should equal a slope of 2 over 1. Now, this becomes a little bit tricky because 5 minus 4 isn't 1. 5 minus 1 is 4. So, if 5 minus 1 is 4, I need this number to become a 4. So if I make this a 4, 1 times 4 is 4, I have to do 2 times 4 is 8. So now I need a number that k equals to make this 8. So 11 minus 3 would be 8. Because 8 minus 4 reduces down to 2 over 1, but 8 is the only number that can go in for k. Or 11 is the only number that can go in for k that would give us this answer. Let's try another one. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 equals negative 1 over 1. So 2 plus 2 is 4. Again, I want this bottom number to be 4. So I have to multiply the top by 4, and I get negative 4. 0 minus what gives me negative 4? 0 minus 4 gives me negative 4. So in this case, k equals 4. We will go over more questions like these in class. You don't have any homework problems to try. Have a great night.